Hey everyone, what's up? It's Dr. Charlie Johnson, physical therapist, and in this video I'm going to show you 3 to 4 different ways you can modify or tweak the way that you walk and move around if you have back, butt, or leg pain that intensifies when you get up and when you're weight bearing. It's very common with disc protrusions or large disc extrusions, as well as things like spinal stenosis, that standing upright can increase the symptoms down your leg. This is contrary to popular belief that, well, if I have pain walking and standing, I must not have a disc herniation because that should only bother me when I'm sitting and when I'm bending. Well, you may have trouble with that too, but point is, regardless of the diagnosis, if you have pain while walking and standing, you notice that when you stand up, the symptoms intensify. Your butt starts to clench or spasm, you get tightness that grows in the hamstring or the calf, or you get pain, numbness, tingling going down your leg. This video is for you. And I'm going to share with you 3 specific cases of people who worked with me who started lying on their belly because they couldn't tolerate anything else. And we were able to teach them some of the techniques that I'm going to show you here in a moment to improve their ability to get up and walk around, which improved their confidence, which reduced their pain, so on and so forth, and allowed them to heal naturally without needing pills, shots, or surgery. Oh, and by the way, if you're interested in figuring out the most likely source of your pain and you want to do that for free, just go ahead and click the link above to download my Better Than an MRI DIY diagnostic guide. All right, so real quick before we dive into the tweaks, the intent of these modifications and tweaks is to temporarily change the way that you're moving about. It is not a permanent solution. I don't ask that you do this for forever. The goal would be to find 1 or maybe 2 of these strategies that work best for you and begin applying it in your own life. And the power in teaching you these tests, that's really what they are, is that you begin to do detective work to figure out what's going to work best for you. And instead of being told that you should do this, or this is right, or this is wrong, you really want to start testing to find what you uniquely are going to respond best to. So try these things on. If you do not try these things on, and instead you jump past this video because you just want to find the exercise to reduce your back, butt, or sciatic pain, then you will be potentially sadly mistaken. And the reason I say is because you can do all the stretches, all the treatments, all the exercises you want. But if at the end of the day, you're constantly picking the scab, irritating the tissue, and reinforcing this pain cycle by the way that you're walking and standing and moving about, then the treatment will be rendered less effective or even useless. And so you cannot exercise the bad diet. This is why we start here with every person we work with. You need to optimize the healing environment. Here are some tests you can run if you have trouble standing and walking. All right, so the first tweak that I want you to run or try out is what I call the zombie walk. So asymmetrical problems generally require asymmetrical solutions. Not all the time, but often. And what I mean by that is most people with back, butt, or sciatica problems have it just down one leg or one leg that's worse than the other. If you have it on both legs, that's okay. This video, still give it a watch and give these things a try. But let's just say you have back, butt, or leg pain on one side, all right? Well, oftentimes the one-sided problem, we need to move our body to one side versus the other to solve the issue. Asymmetrical problem, asymmetrical solution. The zombie walk is designed to help you test that out. So let's just say when you stand up, you start to get pain down your leg. What I want you to do is I want you to start by just side bending to the right. Now you might think, this is crazy, Charlie. Side bending to the right. When I stand up, I'm bent forward and to the right. And I was told that that's bad. I was told that, I want to actually correct it. I got to get myself, I'm crooked. I got to get myself straightened up. And so maybe you've seen a McKenzie practitioner who, if you're bent this way, they're having you do side glides, we call them, against the wall. You might be trying to do all kinds of press-ups or bending over and extending back, and people trying to correct that misalignment. But one thing, before I even show you this, that I need you to understand, your beliefs inform your actions, which inform your results. If you believe that that is the correct way of looking at things, that is the best way of looking at things, and if you're crooked, well, you need to correct that because that would be right and being crooked would be wrong, then you'll constantly continue to hurt yourself. And you'll actually self-sabotage your success and actually impair or impede your healing because you'll be trying to force yourself in a position that your body doesn't like. Why would your body have you tilted forward and to one direction? It would do so because your brain, setting off alarm signals, pain is a great protector, and it's telling you, hey, this feels best. If I wanted to be upright, I would, but right now something hurts and I can't do that. So I'm going to try to find the most comfortable position, tilted forward and maybe to the right or to the left or whatever that position may be. And so rather than trying to force yourself into resistance, into the direction that your body and your brain don't want you to go, why not just go with the flow? Why not go with what feels least restrictive, with what feels loosest and best? And so start like this. It's got to feel safe and feel good. All right. And then what I want you to do is I want you to stand up and I want you to try walking around like that. All right. And all you want to ask yourself is, hey, if I do this zombie walk tilted to the right, does this improve my ability to stand and walk? Meaning, can I walk longer or further before I get leg pain, numbness, and tingling? Or does it reduce the intensity of the leg pain, numbness, or tingling? If either of those are true, then this is a tweak that you would want to try. And when I say try, you'll see here, I'll flash up actually a picture of an individual I worked with here in a moment. He had to walk like this for maybe a week or so time frame. And every time he noticed that this allowed him to walk, it didn't tick off his symptoms, so he was his best own anti-inflammatory, versus before he was trying to push into straightening up and he was ticking off his symptoms because he was told that, well, he should be upright, he shouldn't be crooked. The more crooked we made him, the better he felt. And he did this for a week or so. And then what he started to notice is gradually over time, he didn't have to do as much of it. He was able to straighten up further and further until he calmed himself down enough and he was able to start walking, and now he's doing great, all right? Was able to heal naturally, no pills, no shots, no surgery, all right? So zombie walk, bent forward to the right. But what if that doesn't work? Well, then you've got to the left. All right, so now we can stand up. Okay, what do we got here? So we walk around like this, same, better, or worse. Take a little stroll around. If better, we can use that. If same or worse, we ditch that. We just mark that as, hey, it didn't really work. All right. Now, what's another way we can move our body in sort of an asymmetrical way, but that's a little bit different? Instead of doing the side bends, right and left zombie walks, we can do twists. So twists like this, again, it's got to feel good and safe. How does that feel? If I walk twisted, does that make me feel same, better, or worse? I don't know. Try it out. All right. How about if that doesn't work? What about this? How does that feel? Same, better, or worse? Again, there's no right or wrong way to walk around. That's a belief system that's been planted in your brain. You've got to put your pelvis in this position. You've got to, brace your core. You can't be crooked. All this stuff. It's just gibberish. All right? And it's not supported by anything other than someone's belief and opinion, which they're placing upon you, and then you bought into it. All right? And it could be keeping you from getting better. All right? So if you can start playing around with these things, find what feels best for you. Do the detective work to run those 4 tests. And that was the first tweak, or 4 different ways that you could tweak walking to see if it improves your walking or weight-bearing tolerance. All right? Now, the second way, or the second thing that I might recommend, is that you use an assistive device. So maybe you have a walking stick, maybe you have a cane, something like that. Again, this is not permanent. I realize that this might not look sexy. It might not be something you want to do for forever, but try it out, all right? And so try, in this case, put it in your right hand. You could try putting it in your left hand. Generally, the height, in case you're curious, there's this greater trochanter, it's called, this little bony bump on the outside of your hip. Generally, we recommend the top of the cane be about there just for comfort, and play around with walking, all right? And put it on your right side. See how that feels. Does it help? Sometimes just deloading and putting a little bit, just a few pounds of weight to take it off the painful leg can be helpful. Right? Then try it on the left side. Right? It doesn't have to be on your right or left side. So the typical way that we would teach people to walk would be, if your left leg is the problem, you hold it on the right side. If your right leg is the problem, you hold it on the left side. So you hold it on the opposite side of the quote-unquote problem or pain in this case. But I don't like that rule, and that rule doesn't always work for people. So guess what? Just try it out, test the right, test left, and see what works for you, and break the rules so that you can find what is going to work best for you. All right, so that's an assistive device. You're having trouble walking? Assist yourself. Another assistive device, a rolling walker. Now, maybe you have one of these in your shed, in your closet. Maybe you know someone with one of these. Many people come to me and they have disc issues which are causing trouble standing and walking. They're generally a bit younger, and so they might not think of using this. Generally, we associate walkers with people with balance problems, or they're getting old, some guy told me the other day, whatever that means, right? And that's not true. It is an assistive device. It's more assistive than the cane. But think about it again. If this is a load-bearing problem, as soon as you stand up and you walk around, you place weight through your spine, you get the symptoms in your back, butt, or leg. This can provide almost like a self-traction effect, almost an unloading or decompressive effect, all right? So, pretty straightforward. I like the rolling walker because then you can put all your weight through it and you can just kind of shuffle. And you could do it however you want. You can lead with the right leg, take weight off the left leg if that's a problem. You can lead with the left leg, take weight off the right leg. You can do something like this. Woohoo! And so the whole idea, right, is to, again, unload and find ways for you to move your body such that you can reduce symptoms, reduce leg pain, numbness, tingling, whatever it may be. Again, not for forever. You might do this for a week. You might do it for 10 days. And then you might be able to just wean off it, as an individual I'm working with right now has been able to do. He tried the walker, hadn't thought of that because, well, he has no reason for a walker otherwise, but actually started, again, on his belly, unable to move, and had very little walking tolerance without the walker. But as soon as he was able to move with the walker, he started to notice that his mobility improved. And it improved over time to a point where he could get rid of the walker. All right, so temporarily we're trying to find ways to make you more comfortable. All right, so that's that. Now, I keep mentioning this idea of unloading. All right, so if you have a disc herniation, you can maybe unload or take pressure off a certain part of the spine by doing some type of zombie walk, a side bend or a twist as you move, by putting a little bit of weight through a cane, by putting a little or more or a lot of weight through a walker, something like that. But let's just say that you can't tolerate any of these upright walking tweaks. You might have to regress things a little bit, but it still allows you to get functional and start moving, all right? And so hands and knees. Final little tweak for you. If things are really yucky, Dustin, an individual I'm working with right now, had to go on hands and knees because he could not tolerate anything else. These other tweaks did not work very well for him. So hands and knees, just a quick tip here. Most people, when they think about crawling on hands and knees, they drive with their hips. All right, so they lead by pulling their hips through, which tends to contract the front of the hips and the belly. You could do that. My recommendation is that you pull with the arms. So instead of leading with the hips pulling through, try it out. You're going to pull. So I'm literally pulling back, but my hand is fixed. Pull, and then let your leg follow, right? Pull, pull, right? And so you're pulling with your arms and driving more with your upper body, which is probably something that's feeling maybe okay, versus pulling and driving with your lower body, which maybe feels unsafe at the moment. And again, the reason this works is it's sort of not anti-gravity, but less pressure or load on the spine. Again, if upright is really yucky, okay, that's a yucky position. What are other body positions that I could potentially be more mobile in? Well, I could go hands and knees, and it's somewhat of a deloaded position for the spine. All right, so hopefully it's helpful. Again, that's a little bit experiential. I know it's a little bit nuanced in that maybe that crawling is hard to tell the difference between pulling with the hips and pulling with the hands, but give it a try, all right? And I think more than anything within this video, I just want to give you permission to start to test things. So many of us are bound by a certain belief system or what we've been told about, well, you should do this, you shouldn't do this, this is good for this problem, this is bad for this problem, when really at the end of the day, because I treat people naturally with these problems, we want to treat the symptom experience and the pain experience, not the diagnosis. You'll see many people with disc herniations who hate bending backwards and they love bending forwards, right? But the world tells you don't do that. You'll find many people who have spinal stenosis and they love bending backwards, but they hate bending forward. And so the diagnosis is somewhat irrelevant. Instead, what matters is that we start to teach you to do detective work to identify what's going to feel best and work best for your specific situation. So my goal is to teach you what you need to do to solve the problem. All right, so hopefully that was valuable for you if you have symptoms in your back, butt, or leg that increase immediately upon standing and walking. Let me know in the comments, did you find one or two or maybe even multiple of those tweaks that were valuable? If so, give them a try. Try them on so this way you're not defaulting to your normal habits, which are constantly nicking the scab, but instead you can find more safety and comfort in the way that you move, and you can find a way that works best for you. If you want to get better as quickly as possible and you want to skip DIYing this, click the link below somewhere in the description or in the comments to apply to work with us. I work with people all around the world dealing with these problems, and I would be happy to review your case. Just click the link below, apply to work with us, and then follow instructions to submit a detailed case review. Thanks so much. Chat soon.